I was reading a really interesting article. We are right now just after Yom Kippur. I'm surprised that anyone came. Like your speech prayered, shuled out, but somehow you're here. So we're right after Yom Kippur, and there's a mitzvah today to get involved with the sukkah. So I did some sukkah today, but there's actually a mitzvah. As soon as Yom Kippur finishes, you've said sorry, you're done, you're good, move on, next. You know how sometimes you get in an argument and then you make up with it, or you spoke about someone, you had an argument with them, you fell out, and then you just admit, and then you can't let go. You send another message, and it's like, so just move, next, yalla, let's go, move. So that's the idea also on Yom Kippur. We finished Yom Kippur. I heard a really cool idea. So you know when we finish Yom Kippur, we go back to praying again. Right? We do Arvit. We finished Yom Kippur, back to our 3 prayers a day. It's like you didn't have enough. There's another thing. You know, every time when Yom Kippur finishes, it's hilarious. Oh, wait. We still need to do the blessing of the moon. And everyone's like, oh, we're starving. Not only did you finish late, but now there's another thing. And then we have to do Arvit, the evening prayer, because we did Ne'ilah, and we did all the prayers of Yom Kippur, but there's another prayer. It's fun being a Jew. Anyway, so by the time you eat, it's 8:30 instead of 7:30. That's what happens to me. But really, the time you can eat is from 7:25, whatever. But there's an interesting idea. As soon as you pray, what do we say in our prayers, right? What's the silent prayer? It's called Shmona Esrei. We have 19 prayers. One of them is, we're sorry. Slach lanu avinu ki chatanu. We sinned. I'm sorry, we sinned. How did I sin? What did I do wrong? Yom Kippur just finished. It just finished, for goodness sake. What did I do wrong? Talk about Jewish guilt. I just finished Yom Kippur. And now now we're going straight back into the next prayer. And it's like, I'm sorry, I want to do teshuvah. I want to be a better Jew. Why? Can we not skip that out once a year? So I heard a really good idea. The idea is that you're saying sorry because although Yom Kippur finished, we have a little feeling inside that I'm still worthless. I'm still not good enough. God didn't forgive me. Maybe God didn't forgive me. Maybe the forgiveness wasn't fully done. Maybe I'm still a shmata. So we say, Slach lanu avinu ki chatanu. I'm sorry. I'm sorry because I thought that maybe your forgiveness isn't good enough. And we have to believe that it is. I'm clean. We have to believe fully that I'm clean. I'm ready. I'm ready for the next. So that's what it is. You finished Yom Kippur, which is yesterday, and already straight away you move on. Next. Okay, what can we do next? And we start building the sukkah. There's a mitzvah to move on. And that's a great lesson for life also. You had your problems. You made your mistakes. I don't know if you were here last week when I was talking about Yom Kippur, and I was saying that what was the original Yom Kippur? Does anyone remember? What was the original Yom Kippur? When we got the second tablets, right? So we did the sin of the golden calf, and then God says to Moses, right, that was like the 17th of Tammuz, and then 40 days later, God says, come back. And he gives us the second tablets on Yom Kippur. What happened to the first broken tablets? Where do they go? They go in the ark. We keep the broken pieces. The mistakes that we make, we keep them. We don't throw them away, and we put them in the holiest of places. So if you ever made a mistake, don't look back at it and say, that's what's going to break me. I'm worthless. That's the bottom of me. No. Take that mistake and celebrate it. We put it in the ark, in the holiest place. It goes in the Holy of Holies. It's pretty wild. So the past is the past. We said sorry. We look at it as a way to grow, and then we're going to move on. Okay? Don't get stuck in your past. It's true that what happened, and we've got to move on, and we have to look at the past and grow from it. Don't ignore it. But at the same time, don't get stuck in it. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. Okay, you said sorry already. Die. You had an argument with your parents. You went back again, and he said sorry again. Just leave it. Leave it. Okay, that's the message. Move on. Okay. So that's where we're at right now. This is a holiday still. We're in a holy time. It's not like a chag, but it's a special, special time even now. Till Sukkot. We are now going from this time till Sukkot. And it's a very holy time. It says that when God gave us the second tablets, so the second tablets, we were given them a gift. And then 4 days later, we got to have the tabernacle. Not only did we get the gift, we were like, God says, here's my house. So the Sukkah is a holy place. It's considered like God's house. Now, I want to just tell you something interesting, because I'm seeing something different going on today than I've ever seen. Ever since COVID, we and many other rabbis, I've been hearing this from other rabbis, we're all busier than we've ever been. We find that people are coming back. Whether it's in college campuses or young professionals or events, people are coming back. So I saw this article. I'm sure some of you saw it. It's a Wall Street article written by Chavi Lieber. And she said that this past year, Orthodox Jews are finally having their pop culture moment. Did you see this? Did anyone see this article? You saw it? I was amazed. Look at this. A wave of new shows, music, and content are putting the spotlight on religious communities that have long felt misrepresented. Okay? There's a movie, I don't know if you've heard of it, Rough Diamonds. I don't know about all this stuff. I don't watch it. It's a TV show on Netflix, and it shows Orthodox Judaism from a positive light. There's a lady called Miriam Izagui. Anyone follow her on TikTok? Yeah. Really? She has 2 million followers, and she just shares her daily routine as an Orthodox Jew. And she says, get ready with me video features, some modest clothing, and how she does just living, wrapping a headscarf and all that stuff. She got a comment from a trans influencer, Dylan Mulvaney. You are my favorite. That's what he says to her. In one of the nearly 5,000 comments on her post. Isn't that crazy? There's a video called The Calling. Does anyone know that? I feel like an idiot because I don't know. Features an Orthodox NYPD detective named Avraham who quotes Talmud and solves murders. The Israeli musician Ishai Ribo, who wears I'm just reading. I'm like, I know that name. Ishai Ribo, who wears a yarmulke and blends modern Hebrew poetry with traditional Jewish liturgy. He sold out at Madison Square Garden over Labor Day weekend. That's pretty amazing. Andrew Call, a 34-year-old from LA, a sales representative who's not Jewish, spoke about Ben Shalom in an interview, Aliza Ben Shalom. And he said, she had him glued to Jewish matchmaking. I appreciate the fact that she was observant, but not judgmental at all. Whatever, it goes on and on. Netflix, TikTok, Spotify, there's all different events. This past year specifically. Mordechai Lightstone, a Chabad rabbi from Chabad.org, says, suddenly you can no longer just talk about us from the outside. You have to talk with us. Because people are showing themselves much more online. And influencers are becoming open. And Jewish influencers. It's very interesting. Here, there's more and more. There's a really interesting article. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. But I found this fascinating. One more thing. A Christian from Brazil flew to New York for Ishai Ribo's MSG show after learning about his music from his mother-in-law who's not Jewish. I don't speak Hebrew, but this music is powerful. What about Miami Boys Choir? Remember that? Sung by boys aged 9 to 12, and it's been around since 1977. They had like 3 views prior to this past year. And then all of a sudden, they're boasting 280 million views. Currently. This is a very recent article. Teens dance to the group's hit Yerushalayim, even though they don't know what the song is about, but it slaps, wrote one commenter. One TikToker even interrupted interpreted the Hebrew lyrics into Japanese. I think I saw that one, actually. Did you see that one? It got sent to me on the Jewish TikTok called WhatsApp. You heard of WhatsApp? Okay. Right now on social media, there are millions of comments, all positive, about Jewish people. This is what the guy that ran Miami Boys Choir. And we're turning down a lot of money to keep it that way. He's been offered many different shows, but he doesn't want. He wants to do his own thing. Whatever. That's another discussion also. Okay. There's more. It's like so interesting. But what I'm finding is that people are coming back. And you know what? People are coming back. They don't even have questions. I sit with so many people, and it used to be angry. Oh, the mechitza, or the this, or the that. It used to be much more angry. People are not even angry. They just are looking for joy. That's what I feel like people are looking for. There's a lot of people that I know, almost everyone that I know, and it's not a bad thing, who has a therapist. It's not a bad thing. If that's what you need. But the reality is, so many people are going through therapy. And every time they tell me, I don't even need one. I have you, Rabbi. So I said, come on, then meet me every week. No, that doesn't happen. But, that I do hear that a lot. What is going on? I know that COVID triggered a lot towards it, but something is going on. People are thirsty. And I think that we're slowly seeing that the pop culture out there, who am I chasing? It's like the Kardashian pop culture, which is like empty. It's not any. It doesn't give me anything. It's just emptiness. What am I chasing? So I followed this singer who sings, and the music's getting dirtier and dirtier, at least in my neighborhood. The stuff that I hear. But I'm saying the music's getting worse and worse. What are we singing? What are we talking about? What are we watching? Everything is, in our own eyes, I believe, so much is crumbling also. Did you know that there's new Jewish schools in the area, and they are bursting. Jewish schools are bursting. They do not know how to deal with the amount of applications that they're getting. Why? Because a lot of families want the purity, the simplicity of Jewish education. And forget politics right now. Just the fact that what little kids are being taught is so empty. In schools, people are coming who are Jewish, and they said, I'm willing to pay to put my kid into a Jewish school. Like my kids came back today from school with like these big signs, beautiful arts that they made for Sukkot. It's so pure, as opposed to being taught all this junk that they would have been taught at such a little age. Like my little Abraham. Imagine he was in public school. Like poor guy. Like why would you expose him to that filth? But he isn't. He comes home from school and he has beautiful pictures and his aleph base and his aleph bet and his. It's beautiful. The innocence. Someone once came to my house and said, you know what? Do you know why I keep coming back? I said, why? The parties? We've not done one for a while. Do you know why I keep coming back? So I said, why? He says, because there's something innocent here. There's something pure that's here. And I was like, wow, okay, that's what we need to sell more. I need to stop trying to be cool. And, we should sell more of like that stuff. Anyway, this is my theory. People are looking for joy. They don't even care where it is. It could be in some faraway country, but people are looking for joy. And if you're happy, I want to know what is it that you are taking. What drug are you taking that's making you happy? And, here everyone knows, right? It's the Shabbat drug. That's what I'm taking. It's called Shabbat drug. And other things also. The brachot drug and all the gratitude, all the Judaism stuff that I don't even need a drug for, and it makes me happy. So we are now in the holiday of Sukkot, which is called Zman Simchatenu, the time of our happiness. It's time to be happy. Now is the time to find joy. This is why people are coming back. They want joy. People don't even ask me questions. Rabbi, is it true that the Torah says this, and that about this type of group or that group? And what do you think about politics? How come the Orthodox Jews are this? Some Orthodox Jews are anti-Israel. How come all of them? Me? You don't see my Israeli flag on my head? No. But it's baffling that you think that everyone is all the same. How come no one's asking these questions anymore? Why are you happy? That's the question. Because people are looking and searching how to find more joy, more peace, inner peace. Whether I found my date or my date didn't work out, how do I achieve inner peace, serenity? And the answer is, obviously, Hashem. Harofeh lishvurei lev. It says that God heals broken hearts. Why? Because when you're able to relax and trust, just the idea of trust, it heals. Being able to let go and stop thinking that you have to run the entire world. Just to be able to say, I did my part, and the rest is going to happen on its own. I did my part. I'm human. What do you want from me? I also think, a lot of times people sit in front of me, and I'm like, man, I have 6 kids, I have family, and I would not, I can handle that, but I will not be able to handle the pressure that person in front of me is going through. I wouldn't be able to handle it. You have to finish school by a certain age, have a job that's giving you this amount of money by a certain age, go through every type of education, and you don't even know if that education is going to fit for you, so you might have to go back to college. And it's like, have kids, oh, you're getting old already. It's like insane pressure. Seriously. I personally, I didn't grow up like that, but the pressure that a lot of people are sitting in front of me with, I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do it. I can manage with my family more than I can manage with all that pressure. There's too much. No, and it's like on your own. Your parents just, you've got to move out at some point so that you ditch them. I'm not talking about everyone. Everyone's their own story, but I'm talking about some people. Like, this is what they're going through. Their parents say that you've got to leave. You're already 25, so leave. Right? COVID just happened. I had 3 years on my own in the middle of a room, and I had to deal with rent on my own, and this on my own, and the job, it's like, seriously, I personally do not know how some people that I sit in front of do it. Don't think I judge. The opposite. I judge myself and I say, if I was in that person's shoes, I will not survive for a minute. I don't know how they do it. It's too much pressure. So Judaism is Rofeh lishvurei lev. God heals broken heart. Why? Because the idea of trust is not just like this mundane idea of like, oh, there's a God out there, and instead of thinking about the names and the labels, just the idea that everything has a purpose, a reason. If it's not going to work out for me, maybe there's a better plan. And that's why it's happening. Just today, I saw someone sent me a video of this guy, Hasidic guy. In the background, he's got a Judaica store, massive, in Borough Park, like somewhere in New York. Just this huge store. And it's all going up in flames. And you see fire engines, everyone's putting out the whole thing's in flames. And he's talking about nothing bad happens in the world. He's in the video, and in the background is fire. Nothing bad. Everything, even if you think it's bad, really it's good. And when you go through something which seems to be bad, and the fire's going on, there's nothing left. I'm telling you, that building's gone. There's nothing bad, Hashem. And if you look at life in this way, Rabbi Nachman says that you have olam haba, you have heaven on earth. That's what he was saying. And he's talking whilst this whole building is going down. Now, I know what some people are thinking, because that went through my head, my bad head at some point. He's got insurance, but there are people like that even when they don't have insurance. There are people like that even if they don't. And it's an amazing gift. Trust, because it's too much. How am I going to do this on my own? It's too much pressure. Trust. I'm a human being. What do you want of me? Even science says that I'm a human being. So what do you want from me? To be perfect? How can you be happy? The answer is through trust. And that's what I'm talking about today. Let me tell you something. What's the sukkah? Do you know what the sukkah is? It's this world. What's the sukkah? We make it beautiful. If you come tomorrow, please, it'll be great. Be nice for me. You got to pitch in, sale. But if you do come, it'll help. What's the sukkah? You make the walls beautiful. And you make everything look gorgeous. And you cover it. You put this, you make it beautiful. But then The roof is made out of trees. It's made out of stuff that if someone throws a stone, once it happened to us. I'll tell you the story. In our new house, in the back, we built the sukkah, and all of a sudden, some homeless guy was busy in the neighbor's trash. So we've got two big buildings on both sides. So they have the big trash, the ones that I dream of having. Things that you'll never dream of having, I dream of having. We have big Shabbats, so we need a big trash. I have to walk every week with like 4 of these small trash, and I've called them. They said, no, we only do it for commercial, big family units. I would love a big trash. But whatever, they won't give it to me. So I have to buy 4 small ones and load it, and then it stinks, and wash it every week, whatever. It's the story of my life. So it's all faith. So it's part of my story. So sometimes I even jump in it to make sure the trash goes down, whatever. I change my shoes. And, so what was I saying? So the trash next door, we built the sukkah, the trash next door, some homeless guy's going through, and he threw, I don't know what it was, but it stank so bad. It was like shrimp in like mayo that went in yogurt that went spoiled. Oh, I tell you, it was bad. We had to spray, get it. It was rough. Anyway, so why was I telling you that? I don't remember. I was going in the sukkah. Oh, the sukkah. You're vulnerable. You're in a place, right, where the walls are beautiful, but the ceiling is just, what's it made of? We have neighbors that look in, and they're like, what the heck is this guy doing? He's taking down his tent. He's putting up all this bamboo on his, like, stuff that we would throw in the trash. He's putting on his roof. Like, what is he doing? And the lights and whatever. I mean, I'm sure at some point when they see how beautiful it is with all the light, this is all in my head. They're probably not even thinking a thing. Yeah, this is the story of our life. Anyway, it's part of the sukkah story. But it's covered with like, what? With bamboo sticks? Nothing. And the walls are made beautiful. Do you know what that represents? In Kabbalah, it represents this world. That's the world we live in. We're meant to make the world beautiful. No, we're not against beauty in Judaism. We don't say cover your face. I don't know maybe there's some weird groups that might say that, but not us, right? That's not Judaism. We want to look beautiful. And if there's ever a time where we say you should cover yourself a little more, that's because we want people to see you for who you are and not for what you have to offer. It's another discussion. I'm not going to go down there. But the beauty should come out for sure. Judaism's all about showing you beauty. That's what we stand for. Who knows? Right? And you know what? Someone who's here for 30 or 40, it's not that different than someone who's here for 70 or 80. It's a temporary world. And when this is one of the ideas, when somebody treats life that's temporary as permanent, will face what we call a deep depression. When you treat things that are temporary as permanent, you start facing a down at some point. It'll hit you. The worst thing, by the way, what's worse than depression? Does anyone know what's worse than depression? I've said this many times. What's worse than depression? When someone tells me he's depressed, I say, you're in a good place. What? Yes, because that means you need to change. There's a wake-up call. Do you know what's worse than depression? Pursuing something that will eventually make you depressed. Running after something that won't make you happy eventually in the long run. That is the worst. Pursue till you're 80, and then you face a certain moment of regret. Because that you can never get back on. So whenever someone's down, I tell them, you should know you're in a good place. Don't think of it as a terrible, evil, bad place. I hate myself. No, you're in a very good place. So here's an amazing, so that's the idea. Sukkot is about happiness. How do you achieve happiness? You be real with the world, make it beautiful, but never make it permanent. Okay? You make yourself look good, but know that one day you're going to look old. And you know what older people look like. They look like they're ready, right? No, really. At some point, we're all going to look like skeletons and monkeys at some point. Really, I'm being very serious. But just look at your grandparents, when they got old, they're beautiful as people. You see the souls. But look what happened. Don't make your temporary permanent. Be realistic with life, because that's Judaism. Make it beautiful. But know that it's only temporary. And you sleep in there. And you sleep. And why do I sleep there? Because I have faith. I have trust. Something might fall. That stupid fish, whatever it is with yogurt, might fall on my head. But that's life. I'm vulnerable. That's life. I'm here and it's a temporary world. Everyone's heart is pumping and it's a miracle every second it pumps. But it's a miracle. It's all very temporary, just like the roof. So I want to tell you a story. It's amazing. I've said this before on Sukkot, but whatever. It's about Rabbi Sachs. I don't know if you've heard of him. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs. He tells the greatest story about Sukkot that really touches my... If you've heard it, it's so great, you won't mind hearing it again. He says a story that he just got married. It was not long before Sukkot. Newly married. And he decides he's going to build a sukkah. And he finds out that his neighbor, who's already a vet, he's married a good few years, a good friend of his, he's married like 10 years or whatever, he's got a car. Rabbi Sachs didn't even have a car yet. Not much money. Just newly married. But his friend has a car, and he says to him, do you mind when you go and buy your stuff that you need for your sukkah, can I come with? He says, sure. If I have room, you can put your stuff in. And he goes with his friend, Rabbi Sachs. He goes with his friend to the store. And his friend has literally everything planned out. Beautiful plan of exactly how his sukkah is going to look. The exact woods, the size, everything. Rabbi Sachs, newly married, I'll get a few poles and a few sticks, and I'll be good. And that's what he does. He gets some tarp, some sticks, and some poles, and he goes and buys some stuff. At the same time, his friend, organized, structured, buys the best wood, everything's perfect. He goes home, and he's like, my sukkah ain't going to last. It's in England. England, the rain and the winds, it's not going to last. He takes the sukkah, he builds his sukkah on his balcony, and it's very shaky, it's small, and he builds it. And he looks at his friends, and he's like depressed. Rabbi Sachs looks at his neighbors, wow, gorgeous, beautiful, looks structured, amazing, wow. And he says to himself, this is ridiculous. I'm really not good at woodwork, but this guy's next level. Anyway, long story short, he goes to Sukkot, first night, they have a great night. He sings, his neighbor sings, they hear each other. It's great. The second night, there's a storm. The odds are, and by the way, in England when it's a storm, not like here. I was on the phone with my mom, and I was like, Mom, there's a storm in LA. And I saw in the background what she's going through. Just by her, it's not on the news. Here, it gets on the news. Right? Everyone thought she was calling me, worried. I said, Mom, it's fine. Look at the streets. It's just a little drizzle. It's English weather. So in England, they were going through a storm. So anyway, Rabbi Sachs, second day, they have a storm. Rabbi Sachs comes to shul the next day, and he sees his friend who built this gorgeous sukkah a little sad. He says to him, what's going on? He says, my sukkah broke down. It fell. The whole thing. What? Mine stayed up. So the guy says, I can't be. Your sukkah, that junky sukkah that you made stayed up, and mine fell? I have to see what you did. And he came over to Rabbi Sachs' house, and he saw what he did. And eventually he looks around, and he says, you stuck one wall to the wall of your house. One of the walls, you screwed it in with a screw into the permanent wall of your house. That's Sukkot. When you plug in to something permanent. That's called the nail. He called it the nail of faith. That's the nail of faith. That everything in this world is temporary, but when we're able to plug in to something that's permanent, to godliness, to the idea that there's a creator of the universe, there's something higher, there's a higher power, then we're plugging into something that's permanent. And then the sukkah can withhold any shakes, any storms. That's Sukkot. It's called in Kabbalah, Tzela de Me'emnuta. The sukkah is called the shade of faith. Because that's what we're doing. We sit in it, we eat, we live in it, we sleep in it for 7 days, immediately after Yom Kippur, and we feel the love of Hashem. We're meant to literally think, this is the world. And if I plug into something permanent, I'm fine sleeping in the sukkah. I'm okay. It'll be fine. And you know what? People do camping. They don't complain when they choose to do camping. So I'm going to do camping in my sukkah. And you know what? It's going to be fine. The reason why some people will say, oh my gosh, you sleep in the sukkah? That's so religious. You know why they say that? Because it's religious. It's got a name. It's called religious. Who cares about names? By the way, not everyone has to sleep in sukkah. If it's very uncomfortable, mosquitoes and all that, I have a whole system in place against mosquitoes, but whatever. If it's very uncomfortable, you're not actually required to sleep in it. If let's say it's raining you're not required to sleep in it if it rains. You have to be comfortable. It has to be like you're living. But the minute you're uncomfortable, then you don't do it anymore, because faith is about be comfortable in your vulnerability in this world. Then connect when you're vulnerable. That's this world. Where is the first time that you hear the name Sukkah in the Torah? This is a hard one. No, that comes after, way after. We're talking about the 5 books of the Torah. What?
When in the desert between Egypt.
That's when we had Sukkot, but there's a time even earlier that we talk about Sukkah. Do you want to know? This is wild. Avraham Avinu, Abraham's wife, she was called Sarah. She was actually also called in the Torah Yiska. Yiska, that's one of her names. Why? Listen to this. Crazy. It says, Rashi, commentary says, why was her name Yiska? This, by the way, teaches you everything about life. She was the mother of the Jewish people. Okay? Why was her name called Yiska? Because Yiska means also to see through. Sukkah means to see through things. And she had the ability to see past the physical world, to see through things, see people not just for they are, as things. See money not just as it is, as things, but to see past things. She would see Beruach HaKodesh. She'd have spiritual ability to see past the physical. It was on a very high level, but we should also do that. Not just see people as a thing, as a number, as a person. He's more than that. See through. That's one reason where the name Sukkah comes from. Another is because everyone would see her and they'll be like, wow, she's beautiful. So, Sukkah means to see. See past and to see beauty. This is it. This is our world. You go in the Sukkah and you see the beauty. You've got to see the beauty in everything, in the world, but see past it. That's her name. This is the mother of the Jewish people. And another idea is, he says, Yiska comes from the word Nesichut, which means, what's Nesicha? Princess, royalty. These 3 things. Okay, I know it's late, but this is power. Do you want beauty? What's beauty? Someone who's not just beautiful on the outside. What's beauty? It says, Sheker hachen vehevel hayofi. Beauty is a lie. Because I told you, eventually we all get old, and we all look like monkeys at some point. It's not my quote, right? But it's true. Reality. Eventually we get old. I know it's funny. So, bless you. That's beauty. Beauty is a lie as long as it's just physical. It's true. Judaism's not against beauty. I just told you we're not. But beauty alone, just as a physical thing, is a lie. If you see someone in front of you and say, they are so beautiful, you know what? There's some people that even if they're beautiful, the minute they speak, not so beautiful after all. Right? Because what's inside is coming out. And inside, you have a soul, but they are hiding that soul. Sometimes people are hiding their soul. They're not bringing out their inner self. So beauty is important according to Judaism, but only, Shlomo HaMelech says, only if it's a person with faith. Isha yirat Hashem hi titalal. Now I know that when I say the word faith, people are like, what? So that means if you don't have faith, you don't beautiful? No. Faith means that you're able to see past the physical world. You're able to see past people just as things. The way we do it is through faith, and that's the way it should be done. But that's the way beauty really is expressed. You can be beautiful, but not so beautiful after all. If you're not beautiful on the inside, the beauty on the outside is worthless, and it's actually ugly. It's not even beautiful. So how do you express beauty? From the inside out. And how do you achieve that? Through seeing people beyond just physical things. It takes work. Seeing things beyond physical things. It's not just a car. It's a car that takes me somewhere. I have to look good so that I can be a better Jew. I can be a better person. Not just so that people can see my six-pack. How empty. That's empty. I have to work out so I should have big muscles. There's no value in that. You should work out to be healthy, but not so that people could just look at me as a better meat. I'm sorry, I'm being very upfront, but I'm being real. I'm being real here. That's not seeing me for who I am, right? So that's Sukkah. Sukkah means you're seeing past the physical beyond. And that's why this is called the holiday of faith. I've got a few minutes, but I want to tell you, look what faith does. Okay? Here's someone that was involved with us. Okay? I'm on video, I'm not going to say his name. He was involved with us and he got engaged. When he started getting involved with us, he had no clue about Judaism. And eventually he became more and more involved and he became more religious and he got engaged to a girl that's religious. We figured out that the day he got involved with us, good few years back, was the day that she started dating. And she went out on a lot of dates. But her guy was not ready yet. The guy that she was waiting for, who she now married, was not ready. So imagine every time you go out, so hard. It's not the right. Yeah, but if you have faith, emunah means this person it's not working out. Let's move on next. It's work, but this is the way to live. That we're only here in this world temporarily. And by the way, you can interject, but this is how people should live. I'm dating, this person's not for me. It's not working out. Okay, either we figure it out or we move on. But don't let it break me. And if it's not working out, I'm already 28 or 35 or whatever age I feel like I need to be married. God has a better plan for me. There's a plan. There's a good plan coming my way. And that's why the person I dated, again, is not for me. Because there's someone better for me. Someone who's able to go through all these challenges. It's greatness. Okay, I'm a chazan in the shul. I run a Sephardic minyan at Sola. Not run it. I'm the chazan. I'm the cantor there. So, and I read. There's another rabbi that's there. And every once in a while, I make a joke. Like I sing, and then I go completely flat in my tune. Because they always like, do it. And I don't always want to pray, but I have to do it. So I do it. They're paying me. So I go up there, and I sing. And once in a while, I come out flat. I'm like singing, and then my tune is like, that's off. So I just like quickly change it, Sephardic, I do, and I get out of it. But afterwards, someone comes up, the guy that works in the shul, we always say, it's good for me. This is how we talk to each other. It's good for me. It's embarrassing. There's a lot of people in the room. And we always say, it's good for me. It's good for my humility. It makes me, it breaks my pride a little bit. It's good. That's actually very good. That's the right way of dealing with challenges. It's going to make me grow. Not, oh no, I'm so embarrassed. Otherwise, I'll never sing again. It's good for me. It makes me humble. It's the only reason why I'm here. The day that I started, 11 years ago, I was asked to work in Oregon. We went to Oregon, and there was like an event in a hotel with like 400 kids, NCSY. And they had this event with like 400 kids coming from all over, West Coast event, and they asked me to come. And I'm starting to move into this new job, and they asked me to come. And they said, we heard you've got a great voice. Can you do Kiddush? And then afterwards, you're going to speak. And I was so nervous. Back then, I could not speak in public. Right now, I'm speaking, I'm fine. But back then, I was like this. So nervous for hours before. And I was so nervous, I opened, 400 people were doing a Shabbat dinner, and I opened the book, and I said Kiddush, and I couldn't read the words because I was so nervous. And I ended up reading Kiddush from Rosh Hashanah. And it was a regular Shabbat. And they're like, this is a rabbi? He's even how to read the Kiddush? That's what I went through. But it was good. It was good. It made me more humble. Every challenge you go through makes you more humble. It's there to make you grow. That's faith. Faith is whatever you go through, it's going to make you grow. It's there for a reason. Whatever it could be. And this is life. Okay, I don't want to keep you for too long, but this is life. Okay, whether it's dating, every single situation. Money. What about job? Here's an amazing story. There's a rabbi, we'll finish with this. Rabbi Tauber. He's not alive anymore. Zichrono Livracha, Rabbi Elazar Tauber. A rabbi that was flying from Israel to be a keynote speaker in somewhere in New York. And he was flying from Israel. And he was getting on the flight, very busy man. So he got the flight for the day of the speech that he had to give. And gets to the plane, delay 5 hours. Which means he's going to miss the speech. He says, I'm going anyway. As he's sitting on the plane, everyone on the plane is going nuts, complaining, shouting, what do you mean? I have a job to go, screaming everyone was going mad. This Rabbi Tauber, he passed away, Zichrono Livracha, may his memory be a blessing. He sits, reads his book as if nothing's going on. And next to him is a professor who also had to go and be in a school teaching something, an Israeli professor, not religious. He sits next to this rabbi, long beard, and he sees that the rabbi's just reading, he's calm. He's like, and everyone's getting annoyed. 5 hours delay. And they're on the plane. But they have to get off, everything. It's annoying. He is chill. And the guy next to him is nervous. And he sees the rabbi, he says, I need to ask him. Rabbi, do you have something important to go to? He says, yes, I'm a keynote speaker. And this is my income. They're paying me to come and speak. And I'm missing my speech. With a smile. He said it with a smile on his face. The guy next to him said, I can't believe you're so calm. I have also a similar situation. I need to go to some university and I need to give a speech and I'm late. And I'm nervous. How are you so calm? He says, what am I going to do? Am I flying the plane? Is it my plane? Is it with, I showed up. The rest is God's plan. It's not my plan, it's God's plan. I did my part. God does the rest. The guy, Rabbi Tauber goes to this thing, misses the speech. Doesn't matter. After they all say it, you speak to him, people speak to him, he gives a little speech, but he missed the main keynote. He flies back, and he moves on. 15 years later, this professor comes up to him as a more religious man. He was not religious. He was going to move to New York, and who knows what would have been. He was not religious. He comes up to Rabbi Tauber and he says, Rabbi, do you remember me? He says, I'm sorry. I don't remember you. He says, I'm that guy. 15 years ago, I was the professor when you missed your keynote speech that you had to give. The rabbi says, 15 years I've been wondering, why did I miss that keynote speech? And now you've given me the answer. You gave me the answer. It was worth it to miss it just for you. But that's what faith does. Now, by the way, what I'm talking about, I'm talking to myself also. I try. I try a lot to grow in my faith. Don't think, he's a religious guy. I'm starting. Honestly, till now, I was born this way. But really, right now, like I'm really starting to work on this. So it's never too late. I'm starting to work on my faith now, of real trust. And when I say faith, it's not like, oh, there's a God in the sky. No. I'm talking about trust. Letting go, letting go, letting go. Knowing that there's a bigger plan. There's a bigger good out there. I don't need to do everything. I'm a human being. I'm not limited. This will make you happy. There are thousands of things. And I'm done. But there's thousands of things that faith proves again and again. Trust that you'll be happy. When it says that when Moses was getting the job to take the Jewish people out, he says, I don't want to do it. I have an older brother, Aaron. My older brother's going to get upset. God says, no, he's not. He's going to be happy in his heart. And that's exactly what happened. What happened to, because of that, and that's really what happened. Aaron, his older brother, didn't say, oh, I should be getting the role. Moses, he can't speak. I should get the role. No, God says he's going to be happy in his heart. Do you know why? Because God says, that's really what happens. He's happy in his heart. He's going to actually be the Kohen Gadol. He's going to be the great priest. Moses wasn't. But he's going to have the breastplate on his chest, which would be the power of speaking to the people through God. He's going to be like the most powerful Jew throughout history. The holy priest was Aaron. Why? Because he was happy in his heart. How do you get happy in your heart? Faith. This is it. Not if I had money, I'll be happy. If I had more, if I had a car, I'll be happy. If I had... No, now, besimcha, machshava. Simcha in Hebrew is the same word as machshava, thought. You are happy if you think right. And how do you think right? By incorporating faith. And what's faith? Understanding that I don't see the full picture. So therefore, I'm going to do my part and I'm just going to let God. Not let go, let God. Let go means nothing's going to happen. Let God means God's going to take over. It's different. We don't say let go. We say let God. That's different. So that's my blessing to you all, that you should have a happy heart. Happy if other people are successful. Happy if they are younger than you and they're successful. You're happy for your brothers and your sisters and your mom and your whatever it is. That's happiness in your heart comes from faith. That's another thing. Faith has a power to help you in your money, to help you in every area of your life. And dating, everything. Anyway, okay, I've spoken too long, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And